The following live town hall broadcast of Prairie Sportsman is a production of Pioneer Public Television in cooperation with the University of Minnesota Morris.
The open prairie of the upper Midwest is home and a destination for people who love the outdoors. To hunt, fish, and enjoy outdoor recreation provided by our vast resources of lakes, rivers, trails, and grasslands. Here we connect with the natural world and leave the stresses of our daily lives behind.
Funding for this project was provided by the Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund as recommended by the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources and by American Surplus, Ice Castle Fish House RV, Minnesota's largest manufacturer of premium portable ice fish houses, and a proud supporter of the annual February Ice Castle Classic Fishing Tournament. More information at icecastlefh.com. And by Live Wide Open, a regional movement that encourages people to make a great life for themselves in West Central Minnesota. More at livewideopen.com.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Brett Amundson, and we are live here tonight for the premiere of the 2017 Prairie Sportsman season with a town hall broadcast from the Black Box Theater here at the University of Minnesota Morris. Now, throughout tonight's broadcast, Amanda, here in our studio audience, is going to be taking your questions and comments via Facebook and Twitter at hashtag PSTownHall or by email at prairiesportsman@pioneer.org. You can also call in, too, at 1-800-726-3178. Now, when it comes to managing our public and our private lands and balancing the interests of our outdoor enthusiasts, our farmers, our natural resource managers, we sometimes have to agree to disagree. Now, that's the point of tonight's Town Hall broadcast. So don't be shy about sending in your questions or opinions, and we'll try to get to everyone. We can't get to everyone tonight, but we'll try. We'll be answering our questions throughout our new series, either online or here on the air. Now, thanks to all of you who have tuned in, and to those of you here in our studio audience, of course, and I especially want to thank several people in the audience tonight who are prepared to take your questions. Let me introduce them to you.
Nicole Davros. Nicole is an upland game bird research scientist based at the DNR office in Medelia, Minnesota. Nicole is studying pheasant breeding habitat at the Lamberton Wildlife Management Area in southwest Minnesota and is radio collaring hen pheasants to look at what habitat they prefer for nesting and raising their chicks. Chris Domeyer, DNR Fisheries Manager based in Ortonville. He manages fisheries and fish habitat in western Minnesota and works with cities that are removing obsolete and dangerous dams and installing replacement rapids. Chris is also a pretty good cook who likes to fry up catfish, yellow bullheads, and drum. Anita Zelenka, a bow hunter from rural Watson, Minnesota, who became serious about her sport 5 years ago to spend more time in the outdoors with her husband and 2 sons. After almost daily archery practice, Anita has become an expert with the bow and is now the most passionate hunter in her family. Bruce Fresky, manager of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife District Office in Morris, which oversees 53,000 acres of public land in western Minnesota and assists private landowners with conservation easements. Bruce's office sits on a 1,000-acre plot of restored wetlands and prairie that is popular nesting habitat for ducks and pheasants. Anthony Howe, Public Relations Director for Pheasants Forever, a nonprofit dedicated to the conservation of pheasants, quail, and other wildlife through habitat improvements, public awareness, education, and land management. Anthony, a rural southwest Minnesota native, is based in St. Paul. Adam Murkowski, based at the Minnesota DNR offices in St. Paul, is responsible for the statewide management and oversight of big game species, including deer, moose, and elk. Adam is an avid deer hunter and has been working with outdoor groups to help ensure the health and vigor of our deer and other big game populations, and can speak to an issue concerning many of us: chronic wasting disease, or CWD.
Yeah, and thanks to everybody tuning in on Facebook, too. You can watch us live on there right now. So we're going to get into it. We're going to answer your questions, and we're going to jump right into it right now. And our first question is from Nicole. Where's Nicole? Right over there. All right, Nicole, you've got a question?
Yes. So Governor Dayton's buffer law received a lot of backlash across the state. I'm wondering, could you speak to its virtues?
That's a great question. That's something that's going on right now. And I think Anthony Hauke is going to be the guy to answer that question right over here. And, yeah, what's going on with what Governor?
Softballs to start out with.
Softballs, yeah. That's a
No,
good one.
it is a great question. This is something that has been getting a lot of publicity, more so as we start a legislative session here. It's become a bit contentious. I think that's obvious to residents in Southwest Minnesota. But I think we're focusing a lot on the policy and forgetting about the problem. I mean, we have some serious water quality issues in Southwest Minnesota. You recall the Pollution Control Agency study that deemed in a 4-county area 98% of water is undrinkable, unfishable, and swimmable. The majority of waters in Southwest Minnesota are impaired to some degree. A lack of wildlife habitat is a contributor to these problems, and then that spawns its own problems where we have declining pollinator populations. We just had another bee that was listed as endangered here in Minnesota. Grassland birds like pheasants have been declining. The monarch butterfly could be listed as an endangered species within 20 years. So stop me when you think this sounds serious. So I think that the main point is, have we come to an agreement on buffers? I don't think so. Is this the perfect policy? But we've heightened the awareness. And I think we've come to at least the conclusion at this point that doing nothing is not the solution. That's not a viable alternative. So where we go from here, I hope it's positive, but we'll see what happens this session and going forward.
All right. Anthony, thank you. Nicole, thank you very much. Our next question is from Paul. Where's Paul? Right here in the center. All right.
I have a question for Adam. Mine refers to accountability. It seems to us lay people out in the middle of nowhere that something happens, they run the deer herd into the ground over a number of years, and nobody's held accountable. Why? I mean, you screw up in the real world, you lose your job. You screw up there, they move you. Why? Help me.
I hope I can help you, Paul. And first of all, I want to say thanks for hosting this program tonight. I think this is terrific, and I'm really glad to be here. And I think, I've been with the DNR for about a year, and one thing when I came in, particularly talking to deer hunters, is we were going through an evaluation of the deer program, and we had also committed to writing the state's first deer plan. And when we went out and we talked to stakeholders doing what we call pre-scoping, just asking about their experiences with deer and how they like to be engaged and what they see as the issues, is communication, engagement, and transparency rose to the top of those issues. And so that's one thing I've heard a lot since I've been here, and we've recently formed a Deer Management Plan Advisory Committee made up of diverse stakeholders who represent the breadth of those interests relating to deer. And they've also raised a lot of those concerns and talking about, not only how do we make decisions, but how do we communicate folks, how do we engage them in that process, and what do we use to determine what goes on in an individual deer permit area, for example. So that's going to be addressed during the formation of the deer plan, and I think it's been good to hear that, and I think we're going to make a lot of progress on moving the ball forward on that. So it's something I can understand the frustration, and especially with a lot of what's happened with deer recently in the state with the severe winters. We've seen a lot of growth in that population, but it also presents an opportunity to talk about those larger driving factors, like grasslands. Grasslands are deer habitat, and we're going to lose a lot of grassland habitat in the near future. And winter cover is critical to deer, both in the grassland prairie zone and also in the northern forest. So not only talk about how can the DNR be more accountable, but how can we work collaboratively with each other to address these overriding issues that are really driving deer numbers across the state.
It's a complicated issue, isn't it? You've been on the job for about a year, Adam. Are you still happy you took it? Good. All right, well, thanks for the question. All right, our next question is from Mary. Where is Mary? Mary is over here, and what's your question, Mary?
Hi, I would like to know how we can get more women involved in hunting and fishing.
Oh, that's a great question. Something that everybody has been asking a lot lately. Maybe Anita can can speak to that question. She's right here.
Well, I think that trend is actually already changing. I think there is more women hunting and fishing. But I think it's part of it is we need to have more mentors and we need more mentors to bring these women in, and people need to teach them. And like boys, they get started, they get their BB gun, they get their bow, they get started at a very young age. It's almost like a rite of passage for boys to learn how to hunt. And I don't think that's been there for girls. So I just think we need to develop some programs to bring more young people, young women into hunting. But I do think it's happening more. More fathers are taking daughters, boyfriends are taking girlfriends, husbands are taking wives. That's how I got going, is with my husband and my children. So,
do you feel like sometimes maybe it's a little bit easier to learn these things from other women?
I don't know. I didn't learn from any other women. It is kind of hard, though, to learn from the guys. I think sometimes they're not as tolerant, maybe, you know. But I do think it would help to learn from other women, but I can't speak from experience. So.
All right. Anita, thank you very much. It's a great question. We are live here at the Black Box Theater at the University of Minnesota Morris. Our first show of the new season of Prairie Sportsman 2017. It's a live town hall broadcast. We're answering questions here in the studio and also your questions at home, whether you're watching us on Pioneer Public Television or on Facebook. You can use the hashtag PS Town Hall on your social media or by calling in 800-726-3178 or also email prairiesportsman@pioneer.org. Amanda has been monitoring social media right now. Amanda, do we have some questions coming in?
Yes. There's some really, really interesting stuff that people have been asking. The first one was asked by Dave Junkst from Facebook like last week, which was great. I was super excited about it. But it has to do with how information is gathered, and I'm going to paraphrase here. But he said that he read an article about biological research being done in Pennsylvania where data that would have been super expensive and time-consuming by traditional study methods was gathered by involving hunters and other outdoors people, kind of bringing them into the mix and collaborating. So he was wondering how this might be replicated in Minnesota for improved information and management.
So more feedback from people that are out there, more
just
hunters.
Like working with people that are actually in the field, I think.
Sure. Maybe, Adam, maybe that's a good question for you.
Yeah, it probably is, because I did my graduate thesis on communicating the results of scientific research. So I think, you know, the takeaway there is that relevancy is key. And we need to make the decisions that we're making, and we need to make the information we're using relevant to people. And so, you know, I think there's a lot of great demonstrations out there about citizen involvement in natural resources and the ability of that to be informative to management. So I think that's, again, you know, and I keep going back to the deer plan we're writing, is a tremendous opportunity for folks to be engaged. We're going to be holding 12 public meetings around the state starting Thursday in Thief River Falls through March 2nd. And we're asking folks to brainstorm with us and have discussions about how do we engage you, what do we need to be doing in deer management. And so I'd really encourage the viewer to get engaged in that process and either come to a public meeting or submit comments online, and then stay engaged after that, because it's really difficult to get folks engaged, whether you're talking about the buffer law, deer management, pheasants, all these things. And so we've got this core group of folks that really care and really can help us, and we need to utilize them. I think that's a terrific point to make.
I think that always makes the sportsman in your state happy too when you're listening to them. It seems that way anyway. So, Dave, thank you for the question on social media. Adam, thanks for answering that right there. And of course, all of you can keep your questions coming in. But right now, we're just going to take a second and take a look at what's coming up in the new season of Prairie Sportsman.
Pioneer Public TV introduces a brand new season of Prairie Sportsman, where we adventure into the world of outdoor sports and the science of natural resource restoration. 3 new shows are coming at you Sunday nights in February. In the first episode, we start off with a bang and take to the field in search of ducks. We explore Swan Lake, home to the state's most impressive duck habitat, and we feel the heat in wetlands and grasslands being restored by fire. Next, we meet the girl with a bow and follow a dedicated bow hunter stalking wild turkey and deer. And we tag along with the patriarch of 4 generations of bow hunters. We top it off in the studio of a local hunter, bow maker, and scrimshaw artist. In the third episode, we join Pheasants Forever hosts on a hunting outing near Aberdeen, South Dakota. And everyone shows up, most importantly, the pheasants. Then we'll shine a light on pheasant research and go late-night hen trapping to call their birds and study their habitats. Every week, there will be new outdoor adventures in our prairie grasslands, rivers, lakes, and trails. And we'll meet up with scientists and land managers working to protect our precious natural resources. Enjoy the ride. All right, we're very excited about the new season and the return of Prairie Sportsman here on Pioneer Public TV. So thank you for tuning in, and stay with us all season long. Right now, it's a live town hall broadcast from the University of Minnesota Morris. We're in the Black Box Theater. We're taking your questions here in studio and also on social media using the hashtag #PSTownHall. Our next question is from Frank. Where's Frank at? Frank's right back there in the back. Let's get him a microphone. And thanks, Frank. What's your question?
I was just wondering why the federal duck stamp is so expensive.
You know, that's a great question. The duck stamp price did go up a little bit, and Bruce Fresky, sitting right over here with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, will be able to, we get a mic for Bruce right over here? There you go. Get him a microphone. Where does the money go? Why did the cost go up on that federal duck stamp?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. Well, last time the duck stamp was raised was about, well, it's been 25 years since we raised the price, so that's a long time. And if you think about what could you buy with the money back in 25 years ago compared to now, it's changed a lot. Now with duck stamps, it's particularly changed because all the money by law has to be used for land acquisition. We just buy land. And anyone who's lived in western or southern Minnesota knows what happened with the price of land. Just in the last 5 or 6 years, most lands doubled and tripled in price. And so the duck stamp was $10 in 1991. Now it's $25. It just went up $10. The duck stamp did not double in price, but land did double in price. So we're still barely keeping up with inflation. Actually, we're not keeping up with inflation, even with the higher cost.
Thank you, Bruce. And a lot of people will save and buy 2 of those duck stamps just because of how much good that they do. So that's a great question. Thank you very much. All right, our next question is for Gary. Where's Gary? Gary is right over here. Let's get a microphone for Gary. Do you have your question?
Yes, I guess this one would be for Adam. Is chronic wasting disease going to be a permanent condition in our deer herd? And is there a concern for human consumption of venison?
That's a great question, and let's get Adam a microphone right over here. And we had the new cases down in the southeast. We had the couple of cases of chronic wasting disease up north of Brainerd there at that farm up there. Is this going to be a problem for a long time?
Yeah, and thank you for the question, Gary. And the first thing I want to talk about is the human health aspect of it. And, you know, there's no scientific evidence that suggests humans can contract a human variant of chronic wasting disease from eating an infected deer. With that said, we would advise you, and I would advise you, not to eat a deer that you know has the disease out of an abundance of caution. And so, you know, we need hunters' help in managing this disease. And then we also just need them to take some practical safeguards if they suspect that they may be hunting an area where the disease is present. Regarding the future of the disease, you know, and it is a huge concern, and it's going to be a concern going forward for a number of reasons, and that's because this is a new disease to deer and to science. It's only been in wild deer since the 80s, and it's spreading. So from a big picture statewide view, this is going to be a concern going forward because we need to be continuously working to ensure the health of the deer herd for future generations. And I think the key to that is right now there's a lot of discussions over if this is or is not an issue for the deer herd, and we just need to agree that it is. We need hunters to agree that this is a serious threat to the future of deer and deer hunting, because that puts us in a position then to talk about what do we need to do to ensure the health of those deer going forward. And, you know, those conversations I talked about with Paul, with stakeholders, and with the Deer Plan Advisory Committee, they've made it very clear that deer herd health should be the top priority for the department, and we're going to need folks' help to do that. And we found a number of positives, a handful of positives in southeast Minnesota, west of Lanesboro, just north of Preston. And those animals all appear in a cluster. So we've had a lot of cooperation, a lot of historical testing in that part of the state. We think we've got it early. We think we've got an opportunity to get ahead of the curve on this infection, and that's what we're attempting to do. And we're gathering information, learning more, and that's going to put us in a conversation to have discussions going forward about what do we need to do to address this threat to our hunting heritage. And if you're not a hunter, you should be concerned about this disease, because when we talk to non-hunters, if you know what this disease does to a deer, they say that's horrible. And to think about the future condition of our deer herd, where they're slowly wasting away, that's something we have more obligation to prevent. And we need hunters to be leaders amongst the general public in talking about this issue and building that collaborative support we're going to need to do it, because the Wildlife Health Fund right now is almost out of money with just what we're doing in the southeast. There's been a positive deer farm around Dassel. There's a positive CWD captive farm around Merrifield, and some of those animals also went to Mount Iron and to Brainerd. So what we're doing in southeast Minnesota could be times 4, and the Game and Fish Fund can't support that, and neither can the Wildlife Health Account. So we need hunters to be leaders in supporting what the DNR is doing now, and then building a broader coalition of support so we can keep deer herds healthy into perpetuity.
If I can ask you, too, real quick, tell us what Minnesota is like compared to other states. Where do we rank as far as the threat of CWD here?
Right, and for whatever reason, and if nothing short of the grace of God, Minnesota up until this fall had one of the only CWD-free deer herds in the Midwest. And if you look at a place like southern Wisconsin, where this is really the first time we've seen the disease in a Midwestern deer herd, and 40% of their bucks are sick in the core area, 25% of their adult females are sick, and those numbers are steadily increasing. That's reaching a point where it is going to have population level declines if it has not already, and that's concerning for the long-term future of those deer herds. So, Minnesota has been in a tremendous position regardless, and so we need to work to ensure the future of those deer herds, because what we've seen in places where management has not been as aggressive are things that don't bode well for the future of deer and deer hunting.
Why do we see it so much in the southeast and not in other parts of the state?
Well, the southeast, where we do our sampling, is based off our assessment of risk, based off a number of factors, and there's been deer in northeast Iowa that have tested positive for the disease, and also Wisconsin.
So we should blame Iowa and Wisconsin.
It's my understanding that Iowa's first positive was a buck that was shot and still had one foot in the Mississippi River. So I'm not saying we blame Wisconsin, but causation may not be correlation.
All right. Adam, thank you very much. We are answering your questions here in studio and also on social media by using the hashtag PSTownHall. You can also email any questions in at prairiesportsman@pioneer.org, or even call them in at 1-800-726-3178. Amanda over here has been answering those questions. Amanda, what else do we have on social media?
So I have a number of questions and comments about water quality, the state of Minnesota's water quality. The comment was about how this person doesn't let their dogs swim in the lakes in this area, and then an email suggested that maybe could increased use of cover crops in Minnesota benefit water quality while maintaining crop production. And then, I'm sorry for my run-on sentence, but maybe the status of milfoil in Minnesota lakes.
Okay. Chris, you want to answer that one? Chris Stillmeyer. Let's start with water quality, and what was it, people letting their dogs swim in the water?
Yeah, refusal to let your dogs swim in the lake. So what can be done to
help
improve the water quality in Minnesota?
Of course, you're going to give me the most contentious item right away. I'm a farm kid from New Ulm, Minnesota. I grew up on the farm. I understand agriculture very well. I've worked out in the Ortonville area for about 25 years. And if you want to see what's going on with water quality, one of the best things you can do is go out there when it's raining hard. You've got to see water moving during hard rainstorms, and that's when our biggest sediment issues occur. A lot of water moves off cultivated landscape, and no one can argue this. You can see it. I have pictures. You can go to any stream and see the dirt moving. This is a reality of production agriculture in this country. So what can we do about it? The buffer question was a good question. I've always said I didn't think it would come to legislation, but apparently it is starting to come to legislation. People want their water quality improved, no question about it. How are we going to get there? It's going to cost some money one way or another. I'm convinced of that, but we have to get there. We have to leave these things behind. We have to leave these healthy waters, these healthy streams, these good fisheries, these good places to swim, places your dogs can go recreate. If you don't have that, you're going to lose that part of your population you want to keep. the people that stay here because they want to stay here, not because they necessarily have to. I want to stay here. I love this part of the country. So it's a reality. We do have to fix it. We got to start arguing about it, is what I'm going to say on it, I guess. The next thing, Eurasian water milfoil, it's an invasive species. We're seeing invasive species spread around. Big Stone Lake now has curled pondweed in it, and last year it was a kind of a hindrance to boating. There's always good and bad with everything. With the curled pondweed, Eurasian water milfoil, we tend to see a little better water quality. It cuts down the wind fetch. We see some good fish habitat. We start seeing more bluegills and bass. We don't want these things to spread around, but the reality is they are. We just need to do our best to try to keep them from spreading around. But is the sky falling? Ask the people fishing perch on Big Stone Lake this winter. Like I said, it's a great place to live, and I mean that. There's always good. Don't focus on the bad.
Well, let's stay in your backyard for a minute, and the Marsh Lake Dam project has been something that's come up quite a bit. What's that going to do to water quality to Marsh Lake, Lac Parle, down the Minnesota River?
Marsh Lake, we could spend the rest of the show talking about, but it's a complicated project. These meetings went on for at least 15 years with the public involved, trying to come up with a good, I would say, combined project that's good for wildlife, fisheries, and water quality. The biggest thing I see coming out of Marsh Lake is we should see some improved water quality, some improved fish spawning habitat, improved vegetation in the lake, improved fish populations overall because it's going to be connected to Lac Parle Lake, and the fish can now get up there. What's getting into Marsh Lake more than anything else is common carp because they can get over that Lowhead Dam. Almost any year they can navigate that dam. Now, 20 species of fish we want there cannot. When you connect them, and a lot of these species have natural seasonal migrations, so you just don't put them there and expect everything to be good. They have to be able to make that migration on their own, and that's what we're going to get out of the Marsh Lake project. We're going to improve the wildlife habitat, but it's going to be a work in progress also. Anyone that thinks everything's going to work great and everything's going to be wonderful, biology doesn't work that way. If you want cut and dried this, then that, biology is not the place to look for it.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. And based on your questions and the responses that we're getting tonight, it is heartening to know that there are so many friends of the outdoors. But recently we received some sad news of the loss of a champion of wetland restoration, who we pay tribute to this evening.
Pioneer Public Television and the University of Minnesota Morris would like to honor the life of Bob Harkuff, a biology and ecology teacher and filmmaker who passed away recently at the age of 85. During our last town hall broadcast from the Black Box Theater back in March of 2008, we discussed the echoes of the Cry of the Marsh documentary that explored Bob's life's work as an advocate for wetland restoration. May Bob's dedication, courage, creativity, and deep love for nature be an inspiration to us all.
We are at the Black Box Theater here at the University of Minnesota Morris to kick off the 2017 season of the new Prairie Sportsman here on Pioneer Public Television. My name is Brett Amundson. Thank you for tuning in, either online or over the air, of course. We're answering your questions here in our live studio audience tonight and also on social media. Don't forget to use those hashtags PS Town Hall. You can call it in, 800-726-3178, or also by email, prairiesportsman@pioneer.org. We do have another question here in our studio. We're going to go to John right now. John is right up here. He's got a question for us.
This goes back to Chris Domeyer. It goes back to Marsh Lake again. I lost two of my really good catfishing holes on the reconfiguration of the Pomme de Terre River, and I'd like to know how that's coming. What do you foresee as far as the rechanneling and how that's going to work out?
All right, we'll get Chris a microphone over here. Pomme de Terre, that's all part of that dam project.
Yeah, it tells you how long I've been out here. I came out here in '91 and worked on the Pomme de Terre River restoration. One thing that happened with that restoration, which is really cool, we didn't have catfish above Appleton to speak of, and now channel catfish reproduce and do really well in the Pomme de Terre River upstream of Appleton. And getting back to those seasonal migrations, that's important to know because a lot of those little catfish are on gravel riffles in that river. They then migrate to the lake, and they'll spend probably the rest of their life in that lake until they return to spawn possibly, and some won't return at all. But in Marsh Lake, one of the interesting things in Marsh Lake, when we do get some winter kill, we don't get it often, but when we do get it, what I see are catfish and drum coming over the spillway. Catfish need those deeper holes in that colder temperature, warmer temperature to overwinter in. So they're a species that's pretty susceptible to winter kill because of cold temps, not oxygen. So this project, by connecting things, should allow those catfish to go where they want in the winter, and then they should come back and be there for you to catch in the spring. So you're going to lose things here and there, but the whole idea is you gain more than you lose.
Catfish are overlooked a little bit out there, aren't they?
Yeah, I cooked up a bunch of 12-inch catfish fillets for my family once, and they didn't believe what they were eating. I didn't tell them until we were done, but it's a very popular fish down south, and those 12-inch catfish out of Lac Parle are very good to eat. I keep telling people, keep some, deep fry them and try them, but it's a hard sell.
You can deep fry anything, though. I mean,
true.
Let's be honest. All right. So Chris, thank you very much. John, thank you very much. We're going to go back to Amanda here for social media. What question do we have with the hashtag PS Town Hall?
This one actually came in via email from Sarah Granger from Pope County Pheasant Restoration, and this is something that we haven't talked about much yet. She wanted to learn a little bit more about the research by the scientists on our panelist about regarding collared hen pheasants.
This is a really interesting study. I wish I could have came out with you on this because let's get a microphone for Nicole over here. Oh, there you go, right there. Tell us about the collaring that you're doing, the radio collaring.
Sure. First, I'll let you know that we take volunteers all the time. It's a minimum
right.
3-person job. So the research came about when I first came on to Minnesota DNR about 4.5 years ago. There was a project looking at how to better interseed forbs, which are your flowering plants, into older restorations. Some of those restorations that are dominated by those warm season grasses like big blue stem and switchgrass. It's really hard to get flowering plants, things that are good for not only birds but pollinators, into those older restorations. We tried a couple different techniques and didn't have great success. And so I wanted to take a step back from that and look at the question of how much do those forbs really matter from a pheasant production perspective. I just come from the school of thought that, food isn't generally limiting to grassland birds. There's been a lot of research done that shows that birds don't really starve. That's aside from the question of pesticides and insecticides. But generally, grassland systems are very productive. There's lots of little bugs jumping around. There's lots of things for all those songbirds and those pheasants to feed on. But predation usually is a big factor. So there's a lot of evidence to show that the type of vegetation that's out there can influence not only how birds view the world, but how predators view the world. And so this project is really aimed at trying to understand how well do pheasants do in terms of nesting, survival, both in terms of broods and individual chicks, and then take that back to our managers so that they can figure out what to do with their limited funds. So as we face the loss of CRP and we don't have as much grassland habitat to work with, do we take those limited funds and do we put it towards acquisitions, or do we take those funds and put it towards trying to get some of these flowering plants out there? Forb seeds are really expensive. Like I said, it's hard to get them into these older restorations. And so really this project is aimed at trying to figure out how pheasants are using that landscape, how their survival rates relate to that landscape or those habitat patches, and then take that back to our managers for recommendations.
How big of a piece of land, how big of a piece of grass do pheasants need to nest and survive?
Well, we like to use 40 acres as a minimum size requirement, but really how well pheasants do depends on the landscape. They can do really well in a smaller patch if there's not much other grassland habitat around. Usually more grass is better. So our research in particular, there's been a lot of research in Minnesota and elsewhere to show that landscape matters. We need to have grass on the landscape. So our project in particular is focusing more on that micro habitat rather than the landscape scale. So we purposely chose large grassland complexes, a lot of wetlands as well in those complexes to focus on our research because we know that having grass on the landscape matters. If we have grass on the landscape, our pheasants are going to do well, our other songbirds are going to do well. So we're focusing on that. But sometimes we use 40 acres as a minimum size requirement. But it really is not a one-size-fits-all approach. As Chris said, it's biology isn't easy, ecology isn't easy, so it really kind of depends on what else is happening in the landscape.
So are the buffer strips, are they going to be big enough?
Can be. It depends on the landscape again. My master's work actually looked at songbird use of filter strips, and so again, landscape context matters. Wider is better. Having more diversity in those matters. That's what we found with my master's research. So we've taken it back to a rod, which is 16.5 feet on one side. Is that enough? It's going to depend. Wider would definitely be better when it comes to trying to stack those benefits on buffers. Buffers, the research shows that buffers are really good for soil erosion and water quality issues, and the goal is to try and stack wildlife benefits on top of that. So pollinators, again, songbirds, all the little mammals that are running around out there, that the hawks hopefully feed on those and not my pheasants. We're really trying to stack benefits, and so in the case of the buffer law, wider would be better, but, it's a process. We'll hopefully get there.
All right, Nicole, thank you very much. Sounds like we got another question from social media, Amanda?
Yeah, so this kind of, I think, piggybacks on what you were just talking about, Nicole. It says, since taxpayers are ultimately paying the cost of the CRP program, why aren't hunters allowed to walk and hunt in the land that is being paid for by taxpayers?
We're going to have, who wants to answer that question? Anthony? All right, let's have Anthony answer it.
I'm getting all the tough ones. I don't work at the DNR, so they got to throw the tough ones my way. That's fine. I like these. And this is a good time to get in that debate. We have another farm bill coming up, right? We'd like to see the CRP cap increase nationwide. It's currently at 24 million acres. We'd like to see it be more than that. We'll probably have a number coming out here soon, but direct to the question, some of those lands do end up as lands you can hunt. We have a walk-in program here in Minnesota that ultimately could have 50,000 acres enrolled. A lot of those lands are already in CRP. Those are targeted. There's walk-in programs in our neighboring states like South Dakota and North Dakota. The CRP lands are targeted most, landowners get an additional payment to open up. So, there's a bunch of land that's in the program that does end up being open to public hunting. And, I think the thing you need to remember, too, is that just having that habitat base is important. Just because we're growing wildlife on those lands doesn't always mean they stay there. They're part of interconnectivity. They're adjacent to other public complexes. So, can the program be improved? Can we open up more of it? I'd sure like to see that. I'm a public land hunter, but now's the time to get involved in that conversation. And, with a new Congress that's convened, let them know what you want to see in this next farm bill. It's going to be important.
What do you want to see in the next farm bill?
Well, CRP number one. That's the big driver for we've talked about a lot of programs. The buffer program I'm hoping is going to be a good one. But, CRP is the big kahuna. That everything else pales in comparison. With a stroke of one pen, we can do so much more for, we've been on a decline like this in the last decade with CRP, and we've seen a diminished pheasant population. So anywhere but up is going to be good, but there's some other programs that can really affect pheasants and ducks and other prairie wildlife. So public access is becoming bigger and bigger too. We would like to see, I think, more of a focus on that. So there's a lot of things spinning. I can tell you, without going into full detail, that the wildlife community is meeting later this month, and they're going to be kind of hatching their priorities. And we have an event coming up in later February, National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic. We'll be hosting a pheasant summit, and we hope to share kind of our full suite of priorities at that event.
Yeah, just real quick, CRP, how do we make that more competitive? Is it with the commodity prices coming down, are more landowners looking at programs like that? Is it starting to happen? Can we get enough money for the demand out there?
Well, I think landowners are showing more of an interest as crop prices have kind of come back to earth a bit in recent years. Unfortunately, they kind of met at a closed door. There weren't enough acres to get in, so that's not good. That's not good for wildlife. That's not good for them. So we'd like to see that cap go up for that reason. We have a new administration that's taking place. We have a new an ag secretary nominee, and there's going to be plenty of appointments. So I think it's just kind of wait and see mode, and we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, that's the first time anybody's mentioned a new administration coming, and I thought for sure we'd have more questions about that here tonight. We are at the University of Minnesota Morris here in the Black Box Theater, taking your comments and your questions here in studio and also at home. And we just want to take a moment to appreciate all the work that those of you in natural resource management fields are doing to restore natural habitats that support wildlife and outdoor recreation. Now, for those of us who enjoy fishing and other water sports, we know the importance of preventing exotic species from taking over our waterways. So thanks to the Aquatic Invasive Species Task Forces of Big Stone, Kandiyohi, and Yellow Medicine counties, every Prairie Sportsman episode this year will feature an Aquatic Invasive Species Minute. Let's take a look.
I'm Stephanie Felt. I'm the Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator for Kandiyohi County, and we're here today at beautiful Green Lake, which unfortunately is infested with zebra mussels and Eurasian milfoil. Fishermen, recreational boat users, anyone who has watercraft on the lake, the key points to remember are to clean, drain, and dispose. So number one, clean. That means when you pull your watercraft off of the lake, make sure you're looking for weeds, zebra mussels, any kind of vegetation that you can just pull off of the boat, get off of the motor, check your trailer thoroughly, because even a fragment of a plant can start a new infestation. It doesn't need to be the whole plant, just a little piece of it can grow in a new body of water. The dispose part of clean, drain, dispose means dispose of any unwanted bait in the nearest trash. But if you want to keep your bait, you can certainly bring a jug of fresh water with you, dump out all the water from your bait container, and put the fresh water in.
This segment has been brought to you by the Aquatic Invasive Species Task Forces of Big Stone, Kandiyohi, and Yellow Medicine counties.
We are at the Black Box Theater here at the University of Minnesota Morris for our kickoff to the 2017 season of Prairie Sportsman. Thanks for tuning in on Pioneer Public TV and also on Facebook. Thanks for watching us live here on Facebook. Now, we're taking your questions live here in the studio. We've got a live studio audience, and of course, we're also taking your questions at home. So if you're sitting there at home right now and you're going, boy, I heard some discussion there, I've got a great question for it, just put it on social media and use the hashtag PSTownHall, or you can email it into us, prairiesportsman@pioneer.org, or even pick up the telephone and call. People still call people nowadays. You can just pick up the phone and call. It's 800-726-3178. Amanda's been answering those questions on social media. Amanda, do you have another one for us?
I do. A lot of emails. Holy moly. Okay, it's hard to keep up. But this one was from Bryce Hacker. It's another change of subject about prescribed burns. And they ask, what is a better management practice for grasslands, to burn it or to graze with livestock to mimic what the buffalo did for thousands of years?
That's a great question. Bruce Fresky, I think, will answer that question right here. Bruce has spent some time with fires, haven't you?
Yeah, we do a lot of burning. We burn about 4,000 to 7,000 acres a year, but we also do a lot of grazing. So the answer is neither grazing or burning is better. If you think about a piece of land, there are places that won't burn. In those areas, you might want to use grazing. In other places, you may have to go and use fire just because you can't get the cattle in there. So every situation is different, but if you think about the prairies in the past, I mean, really all of Minnesota would be forested except for the fact that bison and fires kept it in the grass in about a third of the state. If you don't have those on the land, then it becomes forested pretty quick. And like I said, there's no part of Minnesota that wouldn't be forested without fire and also grazing. So that's why we needed it. If you want grassland, you have to do something to keep it in the grass.
So let's ask you then, why burn in the spring? You know, you'll be driving around and you'll say, boy, I hope it's a great nesting year for pheasants this year. And you see smoke rising up in the distance. Why? What determines the time of year for burning?
Right, that's a good question. Well, there's only a few times of the year you can burn, right? So in the winter, you can't burn, it's snow. In the middle of summer, you can't burn, it's too green. So that leaves you two seasons, spring and fall. And actually, we burn in both in spring and fall. Now, if you burn in the spring, yes, you will burn some nests up, but most species will renest. And you keep in mind, we don't burn the same place, year after year. We might only burn it once every 4 or 5 years. So if we can keep that grass in the grass, then, I guess that's one of the downfalls of the burn is we have some downfall in one year, but we make up for it, over the long term. In the fall, we can burn in the fall, but we don't want to burn early in the fall because the crops are in the field and they're brown, and it's hard to, you don't want to burn somebody's field up. So we have to wait till later in the year. And in late fall, we will do some burning, but sometimes it gets wet and we can't burn. And I guess that's the other side I would say about burning. Even in the spring when we do burn, there's not very many days when we can burn. Sometimes it's too windy, sometimes it's too wet. And there again, that's why we do need another tool like grazing, because there's some springs that are wet. We burn very little.
Well, expand on grazing, because I know guys that'll drive by a piece of public land that's open to hunting, and you drive by and, the grass is real short to the ground. It's not real good habitat for hunting at that point. Why did they have cattle in there this year? Explain the benefits of grazing for
Right. Well, let me explain a little bit, too. When we do grazing, we're trying to emulate what the bison did. And what the bison did is they come into an area and they graze it hard. In fact, if you read some of the old accounts, they would talk about driving their horses through bison country, and they'd say, all I see is bison in all directions. Next day, all we see in bison is in all directions. Third day, all we see is bison in all directions, horses getting hungry. So when those bison were on the land, they had a huge impact. It would look like it was rototilled, but they didn't stay there. They moved on somewhere else, and the rest of the year that grass could come back. That's what those native grasses are adapted to, and we try to emulate that. We may go in an area and graze it real hard for, say, a month, but then we'll pull the cattle off. And we have areas where we can take you in there, and the grass will be pretty much gone, but 2 months later it'll be taller than you or I. So, those grasses can respond real well. What they don't respond very well to, and what they're not adapted to, is putting them in the spring and leaving them there all summer long on that same patch of grass. That's harmful to the grass, and it can't put nutrients back into the roots, and they won't do very well long term. At least the native grasses won't.
Bruce, thank you very much. PS Town Hall is the hashtag to use on social media. Amanda?
Another email. Email's like hot tonight. This one is from Julie from Gold Meadows Hunting Preserve. She says that she used to do a lot of hunting up in Thief River Falls at Agassiz Wildlife Refuge, and they had many food plots planted by the DNR, and now they're gone. She's wondering where they went.
Where did the food plots go at Agassiz?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. Julie, thank you very much for sending in that question. You can try to do that, Bruce. Let's get Bruce a microphone over here. So a lot of food plots used to be up at Agassiz around Thief River Falls, and now they're gone.
Right. So on Agassiz National Wildlife Refuge, which is a Fish and Wildlife Service property, and by the way, I'm not the manager there, so hopefully you won't get upset with my answer. But really, Fish and Wildlife Service in Minnesota in general, we don't have a whole lot of land. I mean, it might seem like it in an area. For instance, in our wetland district, we have 53,000 acres. It sounds like a lot, but we work in 8 counties that covers 4 million acres. So you're talking what? You can do the math. It's like 1% or less than 1%. It's not a lot of land. And so what we've decided is, because grasslands are limiting, and that's really what's limiting for most grassland wildlife. There's not grass for them. We just decide the best use of our land is to have it into grass and to not be growing crops on it. If people want crops, we can lease land, or they can, sportsmen's groups can pay hunters to go and set aside land. But really, for the very limited and small amount of public land, we just feel the best use of that is to have it into grass.
Bruce, thank you very much. Julie, thanks for the question on social media. We're starting to run out of time tonight, but you can still try to sneak your questions in using the hashtag PS Town Hall or emailing prairiesportsman@pioneer.org. And if we don't get to them tonight, we'll try to get to them in our blogs on our website in future episodes of Prairie Sportsman. As we kick off our 2017 season here, live from the University of Minnesota Morris. Amanda, what else do we have?
We have a tweet. Yes.
People are still using Twitter too. All right.
It is about AIS. It is from @Lucas Kruscher, and they ask, can waterfowl carry invasive species?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I've heard that answer a lot. Chris, you want to take a stab at that one? A lot of the critics of the fight against AIS, they say, well, birds carry that stuff from lake to lake. Turtles carry it across roads. What do you say to people that that ask questions like that?
I'm going to say yes, probably short distances. But we know people carry it a lot faster and a lot further. So the whole deal with the AIS is we need to slow it down and keep it out as long as possible. And that could be as much as 50, 100 years in someone's lake. And that's a big deal if you use that lake a lot or if you live on that lake. So I have a picture of a turtle with zebra mussels on it. I have to believe cormorants pond hopping are going to carry things in their feathers. Yes. It's the rate and just the concept. We don't want to move this any faster than what's going to do on its own. And we're learning more. Research, we don't know all these things yet. So as we're learning, let's be proactively cautious is what I say.
Can't we just get rid of all the cormorants anyway?
We could talk about cormorants the rest of the show, but they will eat a lot of bullheads in the right situations. Again, things that are bad sometimes are good and vice versa. The ecology of things is so complicated. I wish it was easy. I wish everything was cause and effect, and I could anytime someone calls, I can give them an answer. I can't give you an answer on anything without going into 1,000 interactions that occur out there in the real world.
Do you think there's a cycle on some of these invasive species that naturally they'll eliminate themselves?
They haven't been seen really to eliminate, but we have seen them explode, and that's a real common phenomenon with species as they enter a new system, and they tend to come back down into a more realistic population. A lot of that has to do with predators developing and everything else like that. They start fitting into the system. At some point, you're no longer an invasive species. Give everything enough time, and it's going to be, I always say everything's native on the planet Earth. Let's hope we don't get anything from outside.
That'd be a whole other task force.
Give them time, they're going to start fitting in better. That's just the way ecology works.
Sure. All right, Chris, thank you very much. PS Town Hall is a hashtag. You can use it after the show, too, and we'll keep trying to answer your questions. Amanda, what else do we have?
We are going to the phones. This was a caller from central Minnesota. They want to know why there is a decline in promoting the outdoors, and could it possibly be revenue related?
The question, there's a decline in promoting the outdoors?
Yeah. Why? Yeah, I guess their perspective is that there's a decline in promotion of outdoor rec or outdoor sporting activities, and maybe is it revenue related?
Adam, you want to try to answer that question?
Yeah, as the millennial on our board, I will take a stab at addressing this question. And I think a lot of it's got to do with changing demographics. I think about how I was exposed to hunting. Was through my family, and we know that 75% of Minnesotans live in urban or ex-urban areas, and so those routes of exposure are different. And at the same time, we know that the hunters we do have are aging, and that limits their participation. So what I really think it's about is exposure and not a lack of promotion on the parts of the DNR. I did a adult learn to hunt program this year. I did a youth learn to hunt program. So those programs exist, and they're utilized, and we can use more mentors. It's hard to get hunters to act as mentors, so any individual hunter can take someone under their wing and do that. But I think we also need to be thinking about, where are our public lands? What opportunities are we offering to folks? And how can we get them exposed at a younger age? And, there's some examples out there about curriculum hitting kids when they're in, that 5 to 6 year age bracket, and they're incredibly formative. So can we work that into a broad population-based exposure? And those people, even if they don't directly consume, fish or go deer hunting, those people care about conservation, and they're types of people that support the Legacy Fund and support the Lottery Fund. And when we're having conversations about how do we keep our deer healthy, they're the kind of people that understand deer are a vital part of a broader ecosystem, and they're willing to support those efforts. So, sure. So it's certainly not any part of the department not doing a proactive part about messaging, but I do think there's some conversations to be had about, what do we need to do to make folks have opportunities to be engaged and be aware.
It's important to get that next generation out. We have time for one more question, ladies and gentlemen. The end of the night. Where's Vicki? Vicki, do you know what your question? You have your question?
Yes.
All right.
I think it's on activism. What should women and sportsmen do who are concerned about the sale or transfer of federal or public lands?
That's a big question. And Anthony, we're going to get this guy a microphone, and we'll pass it right down here real quick. just real quick, this is a big story today that came out.
Yeah, what's Congress's approval rating right now? It might go negative by the time I'm done with this, but there's a movement afoot to sell your public lands. There's a bill, I guess technically named H.R. 621, that's looking to divest millions of acres of public land in western states. These are lands that Americans own. It's our birthright. I guess you might be sitting in Minnesota and saying, well, why does this matter to me? I guess I would say, well, who wants to go hike out west, or who wants to go hunt out west? Maybe your kids might want to do it. I also think it sets a bad precedent. We have the boundary waters here. Could this happen here? So if you want to do something, sign the petition, sportsmansaccess.org, and tell your friends about it. It's a bad deal.
It is an interesting thing right now, Anthony. Thank you very much. And this has been a great discussion, and I hope it opened up some new ways of thinking about how we balance all of our interests, sportsmen and women, environmentalists, farmers, and natural resource managers, and how we protect our treasured heritage of outdoor recreation. Now, we didn't get to all your questions. We tried. But we will tap into the wealth of knowledge behind me and everybody else, all the experts, and we'll reply online. So be sure to check out our website, our blog, our social media platforms, and join in on the conversation. So thank you to all who participated, our guests, our studio audience, and all of you viewers who share our love of the outdoors.
This live town hall broadcast of Prairie Sportsman was a production of Pioneer Public Television in cooperation with the University of Minnesota Morris.
Funding for this project was provided by the Minnesota Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund, as recommended by the Legislative Citizen Commission on Minnesota Resources, and by American Surplus, Ice Castle Fish House RV, Minnesota's largest manufacturer of premium portable ice fish houses, and a proud supporter of the annual February Ice Castle Classic Fishing Tournament. More information at icecastlefh.com. And by Live Wide Open, a regional movement that encourages people to make a great life for themselves in West Central Minnesota. More at livewideopen.com.